Yeah. All right. So there's multiple things I wanted to talk about in this, and the thing after Realm of Shadows was the community groups. I wanted to, because that was revealed exclusively on here last episode.
We successfully launched that ministry in June. And part of launching that ministry was saying we're no longer going to have a midweek congregational gathering, which has been received mixed. Yeah, it's been a mixed reception to that. But the community groups, obviously going into that, I was a little worried. Like, are we going to have any? Is anybody going to want to lead groups? And we had, I think, 6 or 7 groups in our first season. I've been getting stories back from people just like how great the fellowship was, how the community with the believers there was just enhanced. We had different kinds of groups. Like one of them was sit down and do we're studying through a book, right? A kind of a curriculum, if you will. One of them was like, no, we're just cracking open 1 Timothy and just walking through it verse by verse. One of them was like, we're just going for a walk for health reasons. But it's a prayer walk. So as we're walking, we're praying, right? And I was just like, that was what I was hoping would happen, right?
I think I drove past that one week.
Yeah, they I think they were meeting on 4:00 on Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. Anyways, but so the feedback I've been getting has been really positive, you know? And then, of course, the next hurdle was like, okay, that was season 1. Let's see how season 2 is going to go, right? Because the way we set it up is the season is 8 weeks. And then we have a 4-week break, and then the next season is 8 weeks, and that was just to give group leaders a chance to break. One of our groups, it's one of our men's groups that meets on Wednesday nights. They've decided we're not going to break. We're going to keep meeting, and then continue meeting through the season, which was an option we gave every group leader. You don't have to break. And that's cool. So all these little nuances and little moving pieces of it, they've all come into play in the launch and the development of the ministry. This next season coming up, we have some of our groups that are continuing. We have at least one group that said we're not continuing, and then we've had some new groups join the thing. So I'm just like, I'm really blessed. I'm really blessed to see that. Some of the stuff we're still praying about and praying through is, for those, and there was a handful of people in the congregation that were like, for whatever reason, I don't want to make any assumptions or sound like I'm making any assumptions. I just like coming to church midweek. Yeah. And the fact that we don't have that anymore means midweek I go to a different church, which in the big picture kind of defeats the purpose of the community groups. This was about you having the opportunity to plug in with your community here at your home church and build relationships, not so much to leave that community and go build relationships in another community. But at the end of the day, different people have different needs and wants. And so we're still kind of praying through, how to address that. Our youth ministry continued on Wednesday nights where they have a youth small group. And they just continue doing what they were already doing on Wednesdays. So we've had some parents that, although we don't have church Wednesday nights, they still bring their kids and drop them off on Wednesday. Some of those, I think, are like they'll drop off their kids and then they're going to another church for church. And that's fine, So but it's been cool.
Next season is the 33 men starting about
Yes,
again?
We our men's and women's ministries. Our women's ministry has been thriving for a couple years, right? And then our men's ministry earlier this year just started hey guys, we're going to get together and go through a series, and it was really successful, really wildly successful. So what we decided to do was to have our men's and women's ministries, although they don't necessarily meet the definition of small group, because they're like 20, 25 people, and we're like, let's keep a small group to 10 to 15 people. But because it's a men's and women's ministry, we're like, let's see if they operate within the framework of a community group. So they meet for 8 weeks, right? Just like a community group does. And so we have 4 community group seasons each year. Every other season is women's ministry and men's ministry meets. So our men's group we have on this next season starting September 19th is we're revisiting. Not revisiting. We're getting our men's ministry back together on Monday nights, and we're gonna do what we did in our last season again. Just the next section.
This system worked out absolutely perfectly for me.
Nice.
Because I was going to that men's ministry. It ended right around the time it ended, I signed my contract for my next fight, which is coming up in September 18th.
Nice.
And so I was going to have to commit to every single weekday be at the gym, which means that I wouldn't have been able to make it then. So it just happened to line up perfectly so that as soon as it ended, I was able to get into the gym every day. And for the community groups, I took 2 that were early mornings before work.
Beautiful.
And so I didn't have to miss any days of going to the gym.
Yeah.
And I also didn't have to miss going to any of the
spiritual
community
gym.
groups. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
exactly.
see, and that's exactly what the prayer was. Mm-hmm. That these community groups would meet a need without taking away from other needs, right? Because one of the challenges we had with our midweek service was not everybody was available to come to church on Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. So there was a group of people not coming to church at all during the week anyways, right? And then it was at night, right? And there's some people, it's like, well, midweek I'm at work or I got this, or, people like, yourself, you're like, well, I got gym stuff going on. There's all kinds of different reasons that people weren't able to come to Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. Well, now that we kind of like said, hey, let's break it out. And now there's something morning, night, evening, afternoon, different nights of the week. There was the ability to have people plug in. Mm-hmm. And then people could plug into multiple things like you did, or just one. And that was kind of the point.
And I love that, it's you commit for a small amount of time so you can commit.
Right.
Because if you commit to indefinite, it's much harder.
Yeah.
And so I was able to go to these groups that I don't know, maybe I wouldn't enjoy it, and maybe I wouldn't be a good fit. And I was able to go through it all the way. I went to the Thursday morning early birds with Becca, which was a much more feminized Bible study than probably would have been good for me, but I was able to go through all of it because it's for 8 weeks, let's commit, let's see how it goes.
It was a co-ed gathering, but it was led by Becca. She's our secretary of the church here, and
I think besides Will, Richard was there too. Me, Will, Richard, and Timmy were
the only so mostly men. The ladies were attending.
So it was mostly women, and then I went to Nathan Vanderbreek's on Tuesday mornings, which was a lot of people. I mean, I'm older now, but I still think of myself as a child. A group of adults where I get to push my boundaries in social interactions because I'm committed only to 8 weeks, and let's see how I can grow in these 8 weeks.
That was the point of that, right?
Yeah.
One of the challenges in the past with small group ministry here at our church is people don't like letting people down, right?
Yeah.
This is why, and I'm overgeneralizing here, and I get it, but this is why we live in a culture where people go, "Hey, dude, you want to get together on Saturday?" And let me pray about that. I'll let you know because we struggle with saying no because we go, that means I hate them. No, it doesn't. It just means I'm sorry, I can't commit to that. But then we don't want to commit to yes because then it's like, oh my gosh, am I committed to this for the rest of my life?
Yep.
And so I'm glad it was a blessing to you to say, no, it's an 8-week commitment. Mm-hmm. If it really is a bad fit, because I mean, come on, truth be told, we're Christians, but we don't all get along. We don't all have personalities that jive together. And if you happen to be in a group of people and you're like, I just don't really click with these people.
Yeah, we don't all get the same motivation.
Right.
Some of us need a reassuring kind of motivation, like everything's all right, and some of us need, hey, no, everything's not all right. You need to fix things.
Right. It's and then that's going to shift throughout our life, right?
Yeah.
We're going to be in different seasons where we're going to need different motivations. Mm-hmm. So I'm super glad that worked out. And that's really cool.
I'm excited to get back to the 33 men's. I'm interested because in that last time we had our little small groups within the big group. Yeah. So I'm interested to see what different people and what same people will be in my small group. We actually took that from the women's ministry. Oh yeah.
The way they did their thing, because they would meet, they would have a teaching, it was a collective teaching. Excuse me. And then they would break into small groups and kind of have more focused application. And the testimony of that I was like, hey, that's really great, you know. And you know, guys, kind of, you know, generalizing, you know, guys struggle more than the ladies do with let's open up together and talk, right? So we thought, hey, let's try and give opportunity for it to happen. Yeah. And it was huge.
Yeah.
It was such a blessing.
It felt like, I don't want to say forced, but because it was a small enough group where we'd ask a question and everyone would give an answer to every question, I mean, force is the best word that I can think of, but it forces yourself to really formulate the answers to the questions, as opposed to being like, I don't really have an answer to this.
Yeah, you might say is we set the table, right, and allowed everybody to come to the table and participate. You know, but forced is a great way, because sometimes it's like that's what we need.
Yeah, because if you just ask a question to a group, I am the type of person who will be like, I'll let other people answer this. Right. I don't need to be the one to give to this. And if the silence goes on too long, maybe I'll say something. Right. But I'll wait and be the last one called on if everyone's called on, and then have an answer. Especially if I know, like, I'm going to have to give an answer at some point. I am going to engage and give it much more thought. Yeah. Because I think that a lot of things, like, this may be just for me, but I think it's for other people as well. We don't really know what we think about something until we have to formulate it into words. Yeah. Have you gotten into used to be a scuzzy bumper? Look at me now. Finally gained the throne when I've been giving up my crown. Right. I'm feeling blessed. Tell me, how are you? Just let me know if there's anything that I could do. Yeah, I'm feeling blessed. Tell me, how are you? Ain't nobody change the world like them servants do. I ain't been working on myself. I've been working with a group.